remain.
All right. You guys know what time it is. It's Sunday. Time for Matterhorn Mondays, you guys. Welcome, everybody. It's been a hot minute since we've been on the stream. I don't think my chat's working. My chat program does not seem to be... Where are the settings? My chat program is not showing any of the chat, so I guess I'll just have to use the pop-out chat from YouTube. Let's see, give me 1 second to do that. Pop-out chat. Oh no, I completely ruined everything. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Now it's good. All right, welcome everybody. Redmond, welcome one and all, says he. Spectrobits, the thumbnail says every Saturday at 5. Every Saturday at 5, except for the times it's not on Saturday. I should put like an asterisk with a disclaimer. Hello, Vetter. Thomas the Next Walt says hello. You know, he also said, what time does this start? It starts right now, you guys, in case you weren't aware. Matterhorn Sundays starts now. Actually, in a few minutes. I just wanted to... I don't think I have any announcements I need to make before the stream. I normally do, but... Does my voice sound weird? I feel like I'm still asleep, and I have that voice that you have when you wake up. Do you guys know what I'm... No? Okay.
The croaking voice?
Yeah, something...
Well, you don't... Yeah. Well, I mean, I know what you mean. I mean, I wake up and I have this, like, really croaky voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, no, I don't hear it, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. I'm trying to sound as professional as I can for you guys, because this is a very professional podcast, if you guys didn't know. We talk about very professional things, like, what's like a I don't know. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. Mishicat says, I woke up 30 minutes ago. I woke up 30 hours ago. Beat that, everybody. Just kidding. I mean, I technically probably did wake up 30 hours ago. What's 30 hours from now in the past? Forget it. We're getting off topic. We gotta get into we gotta get into the stream, you guys. We got a lot of wonderful topics and things and miscellaneous items to talk about on today's episode of Matterhorn Mondays. So, why don't we go ahead and get this stream rolling?
Remain seated, please.
Remain seated, please.
Permanecer sentados, por
Por
favor.
favor.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Our largest single-theme land expansion ever.
Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 107 of Matterhorn Mondays, coming to you live from the Outpost. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex, the historian.
And today on the Outpost, we are joined by special guest, Bob Iger, everybody. Why don't you say hello to Bob Iger? He's standing behind me. I don't have an extra microphone for him, so he's going to have to yell from my bedroom into my recording studio. I don't record out of a closet, you guys. This is a recording studio. But anyways, Bob Iger joining us right in the back. Why don't you say hi to everybody, Bob? All right. Welcome, Bob. Why is he there? Arcty Stuff 1313 says. Well, Bob has been a longtime fan of the podcast, actually. From episode 1, he was one of the first commenters on episode 1 of Matterhorn Mondays. And ever since then, we've been trying to book him for the show, but, of course, as CEOs are, he's been very busy. He hasn't been free until this very day, which is actually why we postponed the stream to Sunday instead of our normal Saturday recording time at 5 p.m. Disneyland, or 4 p.m. Disneyland time, just for Bob Iger. And sadly, he has a little bit of acne on his face. He's scared to show off his blemishes on camera, so he won't be physically appearing on the stream. But occasionally, we'll check in on Bob to see what his thoughts are on the topics we're going to talk about. Anyways, I don't know what that bit was. As you guys know, links to all of our Discord servers, Twitters, and Instagrams will be down in the description below. And if you'd like to be wished a happy birthday live on the stream, you can do so by submitting your name using the link in the description below. Just fill out the Google Forms Google Doc, put in your name, your birthday, all that stuff. You don't have to use your real name. A lot of people use their usernames that they have online, but this week, we have a few birthdays this week since we missed last week. Let's see. Today's the 29th, so this coming week, we have Riley on September 30th. Happy birthday to Riley. We also have Grace on October 3rd. I think that's October. October comes after September. Yes, it does. I shouldn't need to ask that, but I do. Happy birthday to Grace on October 3rd. And the past birthdays that we missed last week, Jeffrey Seymour, is that a character from what's the Simpsons? Isn't that a character from The Simpsons, or is that a real person? Anyways, happy birthday to Jeffrey if you're real on the 22nd of September. We also have Aiden's and Timmy Waz birthday on the 24th of September, as well as Mishikat's birthday on September 27th of last week. So happy birthday to everybody. Happy birthday to everybody else who did not get a chance to submit their birthdays. Like I said, you can do so using the link in the description below. And if you guys would like to voice your opinion on any of the topics we're going to be talking about, leave a voicemail at 575-386-5814. You can also text the number if you don't feel like talking. We'll be listening to the voicemails live throughout the show. Someone says the Discord link is invalid. That's awkward. Let me get an updated one here for you guys. I'll need to update that after the stream. Invite people. Maximum number of users, no limit. Never expire. Generate new link. Copy. Paste. There you guys go. For all you guys wondering. It's been a hot minute since we've been on the Matterhorn Mondays podcast train. I guess I should sort of explain why we missed last week. Because just like, I think the week before we were boasting, we've never missed a podcast except for the one occasional time. But I was in Arizona over the weekend, and Alex was busy doing something. this past weekend. We couldn't find a time where our schedules would align to record, and we're not gonna like record on a Wednesday and put out the podcast on a Thursday. Then it's not Matterhorn Mondays anymore. So we just figured to wait till this week, wait for all the news to accumulate, and then we'll have a fresh slate of news to talk about in the next episode. And yeah, there was a lot of news, surprisingly, this past week that happened, or I guess I should say these past 2 weeks that happened when we missed. So we were just complaining also about how there was no news the previous 2 episodes to talk about, but now we're going to be jam-packed with news to talk about for you guys. And I do have a couple pictures if you guys would like to see, highlighting my experience to Arizona. I'll go ahead and switch to those now. I visited the Thing in Arizona. I didn't get to see the Thing. I just went to the gift shop and bought a bumper sticker and a t-shirt. And I took a picture with my best friend here. He's green. Some say we look alike. I don't see it. One of my friends said he was my long-lost twin. I don't really see the resemblance, but if you guys do see the resemblance, comment down below. I also took a picture in the entrance area of the Thing National Museum, as well as the outside of the sign of the Thing all-new museum. And I also went to In-N-Out and took a picture of myself outside of In-N-Out. And the whole reason I went to Arizona was for a football game. We go twice a year, I think, to Arizona for the Cardinals football game. And I took a picture outside the stadium as well as inside the stadium. And I'm about to show you guys this next video is my greatest accomplishment of the entire world. I'm just going to preface this by saying people, I guess in the past, I've been known to take pictures in the same pose. And I started doing it, not knowing that I did the same picture in every pose. And then once people on the Discord...
Every pose in the same picture.
Every pose in the same picture, yeah, thank you. And once people started pointing it out to me, I noticed, oh my gosh, I do the same pose in every picture. And, I guess I'm sort of trying to make a meme out of it. Every time I take pictures in front of everywhere, it's got to be me doing the pose. And this next video here, you could, on the big screen at the football stadium, you can tweet or put on Instagram with the hashtag, I think it was like hashtag Red Sea, and you had a chance to get your image up on the big screen. And I did that, you guys. I did just that. I used the hashtag, and I got my picture up on the screen very briefly, might I add, but the greatest accomplishment of my entire life is having that stupid pose up on the screen for however many people were in the stadium. And some people on the Discord decided to have some fun. They cut out a picture. They cut me out and put me in various places and various other images. Here's me posing in front of the fight that happened in Toontown. I didn't want to say that I was there when we covered this. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but I took this picture after the fight when everybody sort of settled down. Here's me in front of Superstar Limo and Disney California Adventure. There's other ones, but I didn't want to flood you guys with all these pictures, these dumb pictures. But anyways, we do have actual news to talk about on today's stream, not just memes. But before we get into that, I'd like to showcase what Matt Snap was Matt drinking today for Matt Snaps. I still don't have a jingle, but we're going classic, you guys. Peach tea. Oh my gosh, this is sweating so... I could like rip this label off with just my finger because of how wet and sweaty it is. But that sounds real. If you guys are not watching the stream and if you're like listening just on Spotify or something, you will be very confused by that statement. But I'm going to go ahead and pour this. This is a family-friendly live stream, you guys. Don't put words into my mouth. But we're going to...
Or anything else.
Oh, left track. I don't have it on hand, but before we get into our main topics today, let's go ahead and take a little visit up to the Peak. Everybody's favorite peak, where we get our news from. News from the Peak.
We now present to you News from the Peak.
People's Stuff said, you look like a chicken in that pose. It does look like I'm doing the chicken dance. I just now noticed that. Thank you for pointing that out. But for our first bit of news from the peak, that is not the updated picture of news from the peak, which is very awkward. I swore I exported the picture. Let's see. Maybe I didn't. What did I save it as? Okay, well, nonetheless, that's not the updated version of news from the peak. This was the stuff we covered a few weeks ago. But for our first bit of news from the peak, Spider-Man returns to the MCU. Sony and Marvel have worked out a new sharing arrangement for Marvel to produce Spider-Man 3, as well as have Spider-Man appear in one other MCU film. Very, very excited about that. I know we first covered this story a few weeks ago. Everybody in the chat, everybody on the internet actually was very distraught over the thought of Spider-Man leaving the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm happy to say he's back, you guys, at least for the time being, until Sony decides to pull another fast one. I know Alex isn't the biggest fan of Marvel movies, but Alex, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man returning to the MCU?
I mean, I guess Disney gets to keep making more Spider-Man movies, so that's cool. I mean, I don't watch them, so I mean, it doesn't affect me. But I mean, I know there's people that really like Spider-Man, so I think this is good news for them.
Very good news. Now Disney can make even more money with these Spider-Man movies. Thank you, Alex, for your very thoughtful insight here on this lovely topic. And I don't think we covered this last week. We didn't. We did not. I swore we did, but for our second bit of news from the peak, the new Tomorrowland sign has been installed at the Magic Kingdom. We've slowly been seeing the transformation of the Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland into a sleek, more retro version of the land. And this new sign really adds a lot to the aesthetic. Like I said, or I guess I should preface this. I should have prefaced this by saying these aren't necessarily new stories that we're talking about, new pieces of news, just because we missed that last week. So you guys may have already seen these images of whatever we're going to be talking about, but we just decided to throw it in here just because some people might not know. And yeah, so I'm a real big fan of this new Tomorrowland sign. A lot of people were bashing it for being too simplistic, for being too minimalistic, but I do think once they get rid of those ugly rocks in the background, then it will really really blend well with the surrounding environment they're trying to create in Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom. Alex, what are your thoughts on the new Tomorrowland sign installed in the Magic Kingdom?
Well, it's funny. I was just gonna say that I've seen like old pictures of the former entrance of that Tomorrowland with the sloped waterfall walls and things. I don't understand why they ever got rid of that. Because it looked so cool, and I'm looking at this picture now with the new entrance sign, but in the background you can see the rocks, and then behind that are the buildings with like the cast member only doors and stuff like that. I'm like, why did they ever get rid of that former entrance? Like, it's just weird. But hopefully they do something new and get rid of those rocks. But otherwise, I think that if there was something to frame that new entrance sign, it would look better to us. Yeah. I do agree in its current form without any special surrounding or anything like that. It looks pretty simplistic, but yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. I've been saying this about all the changes they've been making in Tomorrowland, all the new things they've been adding, like the new Monsters Inc. sign, the Monsters Inc. attraction sign, all the new paint jobs and everything. They look really out of place compared to everything else in Tomorrowland, just because so much of that original 90s aesthetic, architecture stuff is still there. Once they do decide to completely redo, like we were saying, the entrance there, maybe they'll bring back the sloped waterfall stuff. That would look, someone photoshopped that background with this new Tomorrowland sign, and it looked awesome. I don't currently have it on deck right here for me, but here's a picture of the sign at night. It looks really nice at night. I do declare with that blue light there and the Lighting Tomorrowland sign. Yeah, very excited for the future of what Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom has. But for our third and final bit of news from the Peak, this is my favorite story of the year. Rainforest Cafe wants to reopen its downtown Disney location, says the company. Now, as you guys may or may not know, I'm a big fan of Rainforest Cafe. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions out there, a lot of mixed emotions about the franchise as a whole, whether or not the food is overpriced. I do think the food is overpriced. I do like the food. I do think the atmosphere is nice as well. There's a lot of people with differing opinions on Rainforest Cafe, but this story is just, it's like an ex messaging you saying that they want to get back together. That's sort of what this feels like to me. Rainforest Cafe is like texting Disney at 3 a.m. saying, hey, boo, can we come back? And Disney just leaves them on red. That's really what this is like. But there is a quote here. Quote, Disney knows of our interest in reopening Rainforest Cafe in Anaheim, and Disney officials are looking at a variety of options for downtown Disney and cannot comment on the discussions with the tenants. I did read that there were currently no plans to bring back the ESPN zone, but it is very interesting, this whole development with the new hotel that they were going to be building. That's what I guess I should provide some context for this. Rainforest Cafe, the AMC theaters, as well as the ESPN zone closed. Was that like a year ago at this point? Or probably less than a year, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was a little over a year ago.
That is crazy to think about. Almost over. Someone knows the correct dates in chat, but these 3 locations closed because Disney was going to be building a new hotel in its spot, and once the hotel plans fell through, they just stayed closed forever. And now it's just like an awkward, ugly building with nothing inside. And
hey, it's not an ugly building.
I mean, it's not an ugly building, but it's not a beautiful building either. It's definitely a building with some interesting architecture. I love Rainforest Cafe. You know, all the haters can fight me in front of Rainforest Cafe when I visit the parks next time. We'll do thumb wrestling matches to see who wins. But
you know, I don't hate Rainforest Cafe, but I do think that there's so many things about it that they've never updated. You know, like they've never tried to make it look better or more relevant. Even their food menu is like food they used to serve in the 90s. It's just kind of old, and I felt like it's a good concept. It really is, but they need to update some things. And even the animatronics in their shops are a little like shaky and rigid. Like they need to do some serious upgrades to the place to make it less tacky, because it does scream 1990s.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So
I agree, but like I said, whether or not Disney decides to get back together with Rainforest Cafe, we'll be keeping you guys updated. I'm going to be following this story very closely over the next few months for any new developments. We're going to let you guys know what happens because I love Rainforest Cafe, but I do believe that is everything from this week's news from the Peak. And before we get into this week's Alex in the Parks, I would just like to address something. I'd like to give a special shout out to Mike over at blogmickey.com. A few episodes ago, I was asking who the photographer was for all the articles on the site, and on Twitter, the blog Mickey, Mike, who runs the Twitter, said that he does everything himself, from writing the articles to running the Twitter to doing the photography. I'd just like to personally thank Mike and all the work he's done over at blogmickey.com. For the dedication he has for reporting Disney news. And he's also a heck of a photographer as well. So big shout out to Mike. I don't know what his last name is. Big shout out to Mike and blogmickey.com. BlogMickey is normally our go-to source when it comes to a lot of the articles we talk about. And all the articles we're going to be talking about will be in the description linked down below for you guys to read more into. Hashtag not sponsored. We're not sponsored by BlogMickey, but Mike, if you're watching, hit us up, buddy. We'll promote your website even more than we already do. Yeah, big shout out to Blog Mickey. But anyways, before we get into our main topics, let's go ahead and jump straight into this week's Rock Jam, Alex in the Parks.
Theme song.
It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, this week we do have some changes coming to Disneyland, or I guess that have already come to Disneyland. So let's have Alex, a historian, who was there this past week, detail everything, as well as I believe Alex has some other images to share from an event he attended the other day as well.
Oh no, my video image is blocking the actual part of the photo that I want people to see.
Oh yeah. Okay, here, I'll switch it to this then. That's better.
Okay, so instead of taking video this week, I just took photos. I just didn't have enough time. I did an event yesterday. So anyway, so what you see here is a new hut that they've constructed along the side of the Adventureland entrance. And it's kind of funny because back when they redid the entrance sign and they took away the old hut and stuff like that, I was like saying, oh, I think they're probably going to build this tiny little hut to go right over it, just like they did in 1955. But the thing is that it never happened. And so a lot of people were like, oh, well, Alex, you're wrong. Like it's going to stay like that. And for a while, I actually convinced myself, I'm like, okay, that maybe I was wrong. Maybe they're not going to build another hut. It's just going to be this lonely sign. And then when they put the area back under scrims a couple weeks ago, and I was reporting on other Matterhorn Mondays episodes about that, it started sparking again this idea that they're going to build this hut. So anyway, long story short, this hut, it looks a lot like the one that was there in 1955. And it's got that bamboo scaffolding and stuff, just like it used to have. So I think that's really cool. I'm glad they put something back there because it looked kind of weird before without any bamboo or trees in that area. So it just looked very lonely and strange. But anyway, they're still installing stuff up there, probably props and things like that. So in the coming weeks, we'll probably see some, I don't know what kind of props, but props will probably be there. Maybe a ladder, maybe like a little bamboo ladder or something like that. Maybe pottery, stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really glad they did this because it retains the original aesthetic of Disneyland while still providing something new and allowing the walkway to open up and flow better. So now we're at the picture of the Tomorrowland entrance. I walked around, I took video footage of it, but the Tomorrowland entrance, there's no visible progress there. And I don't ride the Astro Orbiter, so I couldn't take photo of that for you. But nevertheless, as from what you can see from ground, it's entirely the same. There's nothing new to show you. So, is that it for Alex in the Parks?
I think so, yeah.
That was so... Okay, well maybe I can combine it with the crowd photos if you want. So, okay, so... and how many of those did I send you?
There are two of these.
Okay, good. Okay, so it was extremely crowded in the parks yesterday. I mean, wow. I haven't seen so many people since well before Galaxy's Edge opened. It was insanity. I mean, it was once again that kind of thing where the line for Pirates of the Caribbean stretched all the way into New Orleans Square, just blocking everything. Haunted Mansion line just zigzagged around the little park next to Haunted Mansion, just completely blocking the way for the Disneyland Railroad, which that line was overflowing into the area for French Market. It was insanity. Looking down Main Street all throughout the day, it just kept getting busier. Even when I left the park at 6 p.m., it was still getting busier as the day went on. And I think it's because this was one of the last weekends for Main Street Electrical Parade. But but also the fact that it's the holiday season for Halloween, and a lot of people are going to be
I
coming
thought
in.
it was Christmas time. I thought I slept in for 10 months.
It's the holiday season.
Oh.
So do. Yeah. No. So that's an image of Main Street Station. I was waiting at Main Street Station. The line went down the stairs. It zigzagged through the whole upper level and then went down the stairs. That's how long the line was at Main Street Station for the Disneyland Railroad, of which they were running 3 trains, which is good because lately they've only been running 2 for the past several weeks to a couple months. There's a weird creeper guy just staring at the camera.
Yeah.
But yes, so it's just amazing how busy the parks were. It was like unlike anything I've ever seen, except for maybe like New Year's Eve or something. It's just insanity. So the parks are busy again, and it's been getting increasingly busier on average. So they're returning. And thankfully it's because Halloween and the holidays are on their way.
Very excited that the parks are packed again, you guys. And I do believe we have some images here from an event Alex attended this past weekend. So,
yes. So yesterday or last night, me and a few friends, we went to this event called A Swinging Wake, and it's in honor of Haunted Mansion's 50th anniversary. I didn't take very many photos of the place. I took video, but I didn't have time to upload it for you guys to see it. So, and it wasn't much video anyway. I think it was like 1 clip. But anyway, yes. So the event took place in Fullerton. It was not an official Disney event. It was an unofficial Disney event, and it was hosted by Justin Scard, and special guests included Bob Gurr, Garner Holt, who designs a lot of Disney's animatronics nowadays, as well as there was a woman named Katrina, or maybe I think she went for short by Kat. She played Constance the Bride in Haunted Mansion, as well as she was known for playing the voice of Dee Dee in the cartoon show Dexter's Laboratory. And then let's see. And then there was one more person, a woman, and I don't remember her name off the top of my head, and I should have brought the flyer down so I could read her name properly, but she was the person that originally designed the wallpaper for the Haunted Mansion. And I know even in my Haunted Mansion video, I mentioned it was Raleigh Crump. That's because most people, even till this weekend, didn't know that she was the original designer. Even she said that last night it was actually pretty funny because she was talking in the microphone and she was saying like, oh, I didn't even know that I was becoming a viral sensation until like a week ago. And it's true because nobody knew. She was like a lost Imagineer. Nobody knew who she was until like a couple months to a week ago. So anyway, so she had some amazing stories about Walt Disney, including one where she's I think from somewhere in Britain. She didn't say, but and she said that she was hired in 1964 to help design the interiors of New Orleans Square at Disneyland. She was an interior designer, obviously, and she said that she was the only interior designer at WED. She literally said the words "me, myself, and I," and and so she designed the interiors for New Orleans Square, as well as she designed some interiors for a bunch of other attractions. She didn't go into too much detail about that, but it was really cool because she said she got to like spend some quality time with Walt and his family because he took her to New Orleans along with his family, because he wanted her to get an idea of what the interiors of all the buildings and stuff looked like so she could recreate it for New Orleans Square. And she said that through the whole time, like, she was hanging out with Walt, Lily, Roy, and Edna, and every night they went to a different restaurant for dinner. And every night everyone ordered drinks, but every time she tried to order a drink, Walt would say, "There's no drink for the lady." And so she just said, "Oh, oh well, she didn't really care if she got a drink or not, like a alcoholic drink." And so after like the final night of like the trip or whatever, they were at their last restaurant for the week, and she wanted to order a drink again, and Walt said again to the waiter, he's like, "Oh, no drink for the lady," and so Lillian turned to Walt and said, "Walt, why don't you let the girl have a drink?" And so Walt said, "No, I am not going to contribute to the drinking of youth in this country." And so it was just like a really hilarious moment. And then apparently he even, when he took her to New York, Lillian and Diane and Sharon, and then of course the Imagineer lady, they went to New York for the World's Fair. He was obviously checking out his rides and attractions that were there, and because he knew that the Imagineer lady had never seen New York, he decided to tell the limo driver that every day that they went to the fair from their hotel, he was to take a completely different route, so that way she could see New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did that, and she said that Walt was just a wonderful, amazing person, and she said that he was the nicest guy, and the family was just the most welcoming people she'd ever met. And so it was just really great to hear her stories. So there was that, and then there was a short segment that Bob Gurr talked. He gave some stories about designing the Doom buggy, stuff that he's often talked about. So it's not any new stories that I have heard. So at the very end, we had a little dinner too. We had a chicken Florentine, so that was pretty good. And then at the end of the dinner, Bob Gurr and then the voice actress of Constance the Bride, they went upstairs to the balcony to they had set up like 2 booths, so that way they could sell their merchandise, sign autographs, take pictures. So I like bolted upstairs to go meet Bob Gurr, and I got in line, and what's funny was, so I brought like $30 in cash, and then the rest I had on a card. So I intended to buy some stuff of his, and then I had even brought with me a hat that I bought at Disneyland earlier that day. It's a Haunted Mansion 50th anniversary Mickey ears hat, and it's gold and it looks really nice. And so I thought, I'm going to get Bob to sign the back of one of the ears, because the front has a design. I don't want the design to be covered. So I wanted him to sign one of the back of the ears. So when I went there, there was a sign at his booth that said that if he's going to sign something that he isn't selling, then the signature is going to cost $30. This is how he makes his money nowadays. He doesn't have like a pension or anything from Disney. He was fired in the 80s from Disney. So I was glad to pay for a signature. The funny thing was that the signature cost $30. I only had $30 in cash, and I wanted to buy his book. I wanted to buy he had like a poster with blueprints on it of different ride vehicles, and I wanted to buy that too. But their card reader machine was not working, and so it just, as Matt would say, pooped out. So
pooped its pants all over you. That's how I would say it, but you were close, Alex.
Oh God, that's okay. So anyway, I didn't get to buy anything from Bob's booth. But I did get him to sign the ears. I got to talk to him. I was talking to him about the Doom buggy. There was a burning question I had about the design of the Doom buggy that I could never figure out. So I got to ask him that. It wasn't easy because the band was playing. Oh, the band that was playing was the swing band that often plays at Disneyland. So for those of you who like to go swing dancing at Disneyland, that was the band that was playing at this event. So that was pretty cool. Swing music was playing, and I'm like literally trying to shout to Bob Gurr, like, because I am standing right next to him and he can't hear me, and the band is so loud. And so like I'm like this, like his ear is like right here. I was like, Bob, I have a question. And so it was really funny because my friend Steve was like, why didn't you just lick his ear? I was like, why would I do that?
I bet it tasted
Anyway.
good. You probably missed out, Alex.
So
Laugh track.
wish we had one. So yeah, so now the other signature that's on the ear hat is from Garner Holt. So Garner Holt designed
Is
and
that
built
this
a
person?
lot of the hold on. If you put it up on, yes, it's that person.
Okay.
So that is Garner Holt. He started off as a Disney fan way back in the 70s. Then he started building his own animatronics. He even, at the age of 18, I think it was, he created his own company, Garner Holt Productions. And ever since, he's just grown to become like one of the world leaders in animatronic production. And now he's built over, I want to say, 500 animatronic figures for Disney in all of their parks. One of the first jobs he did was designing a holiday Christmas tree for the It's a Small World holiday. So that giant Christmas tree you see in the Small World holiday was designed by him. After Disney really liked that, they brought him back in to design all the animatronic holiday figures for Haunted Mansion Holiday. That includes Jack Skellington, and then the singing plants and stuff like that. So he designed and created all of that, and his company is now like really big. And I've always been a fan of Garner Holt because his story at one point in my life was a lot like mine. I wanted to be an Imagineer. I wanted to design animatronics. And so I thought, when I was like a teenager, I was like, boy, I really wish I could do something like that someday, start my own company, build my own animatronics. Never did. But nevertheless, it was great to meet with him. And so, yeah, my Mickey Ears hat now have a signature from Garner Holt, which says, Alex, best wishes. And then the other signature is Bob Gurr. And yeah, and then we got these certificates for the event. One of them was just a fan-made death certificate, really cool. It's printed on this really thick, like cardstock, like super thick. I don't even know what it is. And then we have a little flyer, but it was a really neat event just to have the ability. Bob Gurr sat like just 2 tables away from me. There was only 75 people at the event. Very small event, expensive event. So thank you so much, Jason, Lynette, and Steve, for paying for me to go there and doing that. That was like the time of my life. And then the other thing too was I literally was sitting 3 feet away from Justin Scard. He was at the next table right behind me.
Mm.
So that was really cool. He was taking pictures with fans and talking to people, walking around, seeing everybody. And it was just really nice. It was a great way to like just meet all these Disney fans and stuff. Even a guy that was sitting right next to me operates a podcast, the Podcateers podcast. And so I met him and we started talking, and it was just amazing to meet all these people. But yeah, I mean, my life is complete. I met Bob Gurr, got to shake his hand, got to talk to him, got to get his signature. Oh, so cool.
I'm so mad I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to have to wait another 50 years for the 100th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion to meet Bob Gurr and Justin Scard. Dang it, you guys. Very happy for Mr. Alex, the historian. Yeah, it looked like a fun event. I saw people talking about it on Twitter. Sad I couldn't go. Next time, hopefully, if there's like an event in December when I'm going, then I'll hop on down the train there. But I did neglect to see Thomas the Next Walt sent in a $1.99 super chat. Don't spend it all in one place. So that's what his description said. So thank you to Thomas the Next Walt. I guess I should start monitoring because we can't accept super chats on the second channel, only on the main channel. I should probably have the main channel open from now on instead of the second one in case something like this happens. Very sorry I caught it late. I saw in the chat you were saying read my donation, and I was very confused because we can't accept donations on this channel. But yeah, big shout out to Thomas the Next Walt. And let's see. I think that is about to wrap up that segment. And before we get into our main topics, we do have one. We'll save the voicemail for later. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the main topics. Let's see. First main topic, price increases at Galaxy's Edge. Second, new entertainment coming to the Golden Horseshoe. And third, and the biggest one, Disney executive shuffle-ups happening at the Walt Disney Company, or I guess already happened because this is all old news. But for our first topic of the day, very interesting. Olga's Cantina increases the drink prices at Disneyland. This is apparently done in order to match the prices of Galaxy's Edge in Florida. I guess it's not too much of an increase. The prices for alcoholic drinks go up around $1, and a $10 increase for the Rancor Beer Flight Souvenir Board, whatever that is. So, very... I don't know, in the context of, like, this article in the context of how poor the attendance has been at Disneyland recently and all the entertainment they've been cutting as well, seeing these price increases is kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but Alex, what are your thoughts on the price increases coming to Olga's Cantina in Disneyland?
Well, to be honest, I was there yesterday, and I had never seen Galaxy's Edge so packed. It was incredibly busy there. And we actually went to Olga's Cantina. I posted some pictures on Twitter. And I got one of the drinks there. It was called like the Jabba juice.
The poo-poo surprise. Sorry. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
So anyway, it was really packed in there in Olga's Cantina. It was ridiculous. We got a reservation for a booth, which, by the way, when you get reservations for stuff at Disney, it doesn't mean poop. It doesn't mean anything because you're still.
I was confused when you said that.
Yeah, well, you know. So Disney is so weird with reservations. The reservation is a reservation to get in a line. That's how Disney does things for everything that is reservation based. It's not about getting your table and whatever at a certain time. No, it doesn't matter. The reservation is get in line at this time. And so you're still waiting in a line. We waited in like I think it might have been a 20-minute long line just to get into the cantina, even though that was after checking in for our reservation. And then they were like, oh, we can't guarantee a table. I'm like, but we got a reservation for a table. It was just ridiculous. So anyway, they sat us at this booth just like we requested. But apparently you have to share the booth with several other people.
That's weird.
It was really weird. Yes, there were 3 other groups at this table. Very small table, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably no bigger than the desk I'm sitting in front of. And yeah, we were jam-packed in there. Like we were like squished in the booth like this with other people. And it was funny because this couple was sat down next to us, and we waited so long for a server to come up and take our orders that couple just up and left. And yes, and when we sat down, the table was full of dirty glasses and napkins and everything. Like they didn't even clean up the table before we went to sit down. And once again, we waited a long time for our server to come by. So we were just sitting there with garbage on our table and it was just full. Yeah, so that was not a good experience. I'm not even going to say just for a Disney restaurant. That was not a good experience for any restaurant. You know, I have a lot of experience operating and working in restaurants, and that was just not cool. But anyway, when the server finally came and cleared the table for us and stuff like that, I ordered my drink. My drink was really good. It was basically pineapple juice, honestly. It was a few other things mixed in, obviously, but it I think my favorite part was it came with these like little pearls, and I at first thought they were like boba pearls, which are technically doesn't exist. It's tapioca pearls. But anyway, point is, that's a tangent. It wasn't tapioca pearl or boba pearls. It was a special like pearl that they put like juice inside of it. So when you bite into it, it snaps, it pops, and you get this burst of like juice, and it was pretty good. And I would have to agree with James Casey on this one, as he says in chat that it's normal sugary Disney drinks. Yeah, that's pretty much what my drink was. It was pure sugar in a glass. It was good, but I mean, it was just pure sugar. And I only got like 8 ounces of it, which for those of you who don't know, that's literally like if you were to take a 1 cup measure, that's all it was. And I'm like, I got 8 ounces of juice. Like that's less than what you buy like an orange juice out in like the fruit cart, you know? So I was just like, I spent like $8 on that juice. I was just like, this was not worth it. Like to sit in this crowded booth with all these people breathing down my necks. The music is so loud, it's hurting our ears. I paid $8 for a juice drink that had no alcohol in it, by the way. Only to sit at like a dirty table. I don't know what to say, because I know some people are like, oh, I really like this place. I think it's a really good idea. And I love it. So I think I'll just say it's not for me. Oga's Cantina is not for me. That's not, I wouldn't want to go in there again. I've already been in there twice. So I just don't like it. I don't. And then, like I would say the one alcoholic beverage I wanted cost $45.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? $45?
To be truthful, it comes with the mug that you get it in. So you get to keep the mug. It looks like an indoor mug. But even the drinks on average there are $15, which by the way is kind of a lot for an alcoholic beverage. The only time you see like $15 drinks is at a really nice bar. And I don't think Disney uses the nice alcohol for their drinks. So you're really spending a lot for cheap alcohol. So even if the drink in that mug was $15, that means that the mug itself was $30. $30 for a ceramic mug? I wouldn't do it. That's not my thing. So yeah, $45 for that drink. I wasn't gonna do it. My dad wanted me to buy it because he wanted the mug, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing. That's no, I can't do that. So I didn't really enjoy my experience at Oga's Cantina, but it was really nice to be with my friends and like to talk and like to laugh and hang out and stuff like that. So I just realized I went off on a tangent on this topic. So
yeah,
I think we should switch to another topic.
Yeah, it is I guess like I was saying, in the context of all the budget cuts we've been seeing, and now they're increasing the drink prices. It's just very interesting, but for our second topic of the day. I'm sure this will make people happy, hopefully. New entertainment was announced for the Golden Horseshoe in Frontierland. I'm sure you remember a few weeks ago, we detailed Disneyland removing the live entertainment from the Golden Horseshoe, and I think this was last week. They announced a replacement show as well. Well, a replacement quote-unquote show, because it's not really like a full-fledged show like how you guys are expecting, as well as a new entertainment for Frontierland as a whole. There's going to be a traveling magician roaming around the land doing sleight of hand tricks, you guys. They got David Blaine himself to dress up in character and walk around Frontierland. Not really, but he's going to be doing sleight of hand tricks, and he will be on the Mark Twain as well and inside the Golden Horseshoe, so this will sort of add to the overall vibe of Frontierland, I think, which Frontierland's sort of lacking in the live entertainment walk-around characters department, I think. So this guy, if he's good, hopefully he'll help add to the atmosphere as well. And the Golden Horseshoe also welcomes a pair of piano players taking turns playing tunes of the Old West and taking requests from the audience. Which I just want to note right there, taking requests from the audience. What does that mean? I mean, obviously it means they're going to be taking song requests to play on the piano for the audience, but is it going to be any song? Like, can I request Old Town Road and have them play that on the piano? Or is it just like generic country music? Like if I happen to know an Old Town, like Clint Eastwood song, or what's the name of that one guy? I can't think of the singer that I'm thinking of. Anyways, I guess we'll find out if I can request an EDM song for them to play on the piano. We'll see. To me, this sounds more like a temporary replacement rather than a permanent one for the Golden Horseshoe. Just because it's just two guys playing the piano, taking requests from the audience. I mean, sure, that's going to add to the atmosphere, but it's not going to be like a full-fledged show with like people dancing and doing like comedy stuffs and stuff like that. That might be coming further down the road. I don't know. What's interesting though is that Disney decided to announce the removal of the previous show, and then wait like 2 weeks in between before announcing the replacement. Why not announce both at the same time? Did they want people to? Did they want all the backlash from people being upset about them cutting the entertainment, and then just to pop back up and then announce the new stuff to replace it, just to have people more excited again? It's very, very interesting strategic-wise what was going on inside their heads for these couple of announcements for the Golden Horseshoe. But Alex, what are your thoughts on these new live entertainment offerings coming to Frontierland?
I really like the idea. I mean, granted, it's not, any Golden Horseshoe review, but I mean, I really like it. I like the idea of this traveling magician or illusionist, or whatever, I don't know, sleight of hand guy. But anyway, I really like it. I think that's something that I would love to see. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that as soon as I can find the show times, I am there. I'm gonna go watch it. And the dueling pianos, that sounds really fun. I don't know so much about the part where they're gonna take requests, but I do know that there's probably gonna be a little segment. So tired. Okay, I know there's probably gonna be a part where they do a segment where they're gonna like duel each other, and I think that's gonna be hilarious. So I really like this idea, but I have to agree, it is one of those ideas where it was kind of like, oh, this is cheaper than what we were doing.
Yeah.
And, the idea of having the magician guy walk around Frontierland, to replace the former, there was Farley the Fiddler, who used to walk around and stuff like that, and then there were a few other people.
Farty
so this
the
one
farter
magician
as well.
Farley Farley.
No, but there was also Farty the Farter who walked around. And
I think that's just you.
it's me in character, you guys. The mask has been revealed. I was Farty the Farter the whole time. Anyways.
Wow. So yes. So I think that this new entertainment in Frontierland is going to be awesome. It's a very low budget entertainment, but it's still good. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully in the future they'll decide to bring back an actual performance show to the Golden Horseshoe, not just the piano guys, which, yeah, I'm sure that'll be cool, the dueling piano men. We'll see. They did not put a specific release date for this. They just say in the fall is when this is happening. So that could mean next week. That could mean 3 months from now. I don't think fall lasts that long, but you guys get the idea. And we do have one more topic after this, which we will get into right after a word from our sponsors. If you guys are wondering where you can find even more family-friendly live streams just like this one, head on over to theliveplace.com. The Live Place is your headquarters for great family-friendly live streams. They cover anything from Disney to other vacation spots, various variety shows, and have some amazing streamers like Resort TV 1 and myself. Also, be sure to check out puckermint.com, where you can find amazing pins and stickers. Puckermint is based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, just a few hours from where I live, and since I'm a big believer in supporting local artists, we decided to partner up. Be sure to use the coupon code down below when you make your next order. Again, that's puckermint.com and puckermint on Instagram. Alright, and welcome back to your regularly scheduled programming for our final bit of news from the peak. This is the piece of news I'm sure everybody's excited for us to talk about. There's been shuffling at head positions for Disneyland and Walt Disney World these past couple of weeks. This is very lengthy, you guys. I'm just going to be straight up. There's a lot of bullet points to talk about here, a lot of ins and outs, a lot of plot twists. Not really, but let's just go ahead and get into this. Catherine Powell has left the Walt Disney Company as her position of president of Disney Parks West. She didn't necessarily quit or was fired. Her position was eliminated entirely only 2 years after the position was created, and the position was initially created to prepare for Disney's acquisition of Fox and included overseeing Disneyland Resort, Walt Disney World, and Disneyland Paris while letting Bob Chapek, the Bob, focus on the Fox merger. And then Bob went out to say that the integration of the two companies, Disney and Fox, went so well that, quote, what could have been a 5-year mission turned out to be an 18-month mission. So I'm sure she was expecting to keep that position for longer than she did, but I guess since the Fox merger, according to Bob, went as smoothly as it did, they didn't feel a need to have her position anymore. Very, very interesting. That's not the only change, though. Going forward, Disneyland Resort will be overseen by Rebecca Campbell, who was the president. There's a lot of words, positions, that I had no idea existed. Rebecca Campbell was the president of Europe, Middle East, and Africa for the company's direct-to-consumer and international segment. I have no idea what that means. I first read it as saying that she was the president, the president of Europe. That's what I thought she was. And then she just decided to work for Disney. But, that doesn't make any sense. There's no president of Europe. So very interesting. And then Walt Disney World will be led by Josh D'Amaro, who was previously the president of the Disneyland Resort. And I believed he's well-loved around the Disney community, to my knowledge. And he did put out a lengthy handwritten note on Instagram, sort of detailing his emotions on this. I'll link that in the description below. He just seemed like a nice guy. Let's see. They will all start their new positions in November. Disneyland Paris will also be overseen by Michael Colgate. I have no idea how to pronounce this man's name. Colgeiser.
Colglazier.
Colglazier. Thank you. And Disneyland has Disneyland has promoted George Kalogridis, who was that's a interesting name, who had led Walt Disney World since 2013 to the role of president of Disney Segment Development and Enrichment. Again, I have no idea what these positions. What could you guys possibly infer that position to do? President of Disney Segment Development and Enrichment. I don't know, but Kalogridis was an original cast. Kalogridis. You guys get the idea. Was an original cast member for the Magic Kingdom's opening day in 1971. I believe he's been with the company ever since then. Most people were speculating that, what was her first name? Catherine Powell left the company because of the low attendance for Galaxy's Edge. That was sort of the clickbait headlines that were floating around the internet the past couple weeks. But then the Bob reassured that Galaxy's Edge, quote, exceeded every expectation we had. So that Galaxy's Edge attendance had nothing to do with her position being eliminated, had nothing to do with her leaving, according to Bob. The article also states that park attendance fell 3% and that Disney blamed it on the decision to block out annual pass holders and as well as the increase in ticket prices, as well as the fear that Galaxy's Edge would increase the wait times during its opening season, which is something everybody was predicting, but we all know how that turned out. So this is a lot to unpack, you guys. Let's go ahead and start. Let's start one at a time. Catherine Powell. No idea who she is, but she's not with the Walt Disney Company anymore. Alex, what are your thoughts on Catherine Powell leaving the Walt Disney Company after her position was completely eliminated?
Well, her position was only created for that specific job, and the job is done. So I don't see a reason for them to keep that position.
Yeah.
Furthermore, Disney's usually the company where if they could use you, then they'll move you.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't move her, they probably couldn't use her. So I don't think it's anything more than just getting rid of her position and firing her because they can't really use her for anything else. So, there are situations in Disney where you're fired for unfair things, or for things that you've done. But I don't think this is one of those cases. It's just an ordinary case of we don't need you anymore. So, yeah. But I do have to say about George Kalogridis, when I first started at Disney in 2009, he became a Disneyland Resort president in that same year. And he was an amazing resort president. The parks really shined, under his leadership. It was really amazing. And then they moved him to Walt Disney World, and and then we had Michael Colglazier, which I did not like that president.
Well, I guess I should preface this by saying I have no idea who any of these people are and what their legacies, like the legacy that they left on the parks. Like I know Josh D'Amaro, who everybody loves him. I don't know why everybody loves him. I just don't follow, I guess, the more business side of this kind of thing. So whenever we're talking about this, and when Alex says that he loves George Kalogridis, or however his name was, I don't know what he did in the parks to make him. Do you guys know what I'm trying to say? Hopefully you do. But anyways, Alex.
So, George Kalogridis, I'd say, like, one of the things that I really liked about him was he really pushed the company to give Disney more money, Disneyland more money, in order to work on its maintenance. So while he was in the park's maintenance was phenomenal. The landscaping was phenomenal. Things were basically running the way they should. And it was because he didn't accept no for an answer. And then of course, under his leadership, he opened Cars Land and Buena Vista Street. Everything went smoothly. I just felt like under his leadership, the park ran like clockwork the way it should have. And then when Michael Coglizier came in, everything just went wrong. And he cut like all the maintenance budget and whatever, because Michael Coglizier was obsessed with the money. He was obsessed with making it look like he was the best president because he was frugal, because he was able to make it look like he didn't spend as much as the other presidents. That was all he was obsessed with. So everywhere across the board, he cut budgets around Disneyland. This wasn't a Parks and Resorts chairman decision. This was a Disneyland Resort president decision. And because of that, Disneyland started to suffer. That's when Disneyland stopped refurbishing its trains, stopped refurbishing its rides. Just everything went bad after that. And then Josh D'Amaro came in, and he's a really friendly guy, and he can really level with cast members. He can really see them eye to eye. But I don't think he has quite the strong voice as, George Kalogridis did when it came to standing up for what was right and stuff like that. And while it's true, trying to deal with Bob, Chapek as your boss is hard. I just feel like some people just don't try. And I think that Josh D'Amaro was one of those people that just didn't try. So yeah, nice guy, but sometimes being too nice is just doesn't get you anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So didn't for me. That's a whole different story. Anyway, so yeah. So this new president that's coming in, this woman, I don't really know anything about her. Do you?
Rebecca Campbell? No, I do not. I don't know any of the other people, so I'm probably a bad person to ask when it comes to that. But if you guys know in the comments or in the chat who Rebecca Campbell is or what she did as president of Europe, Middle East, and Africa for the company's direct-to-consumer international segment, whatever that means, I have no idea. Your guess is as best as mine. Sounded like I said asbestos. Your guess is as best as mine.
I really don't understand why Disney insists on making people who have never worked in their parks run their parks. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
The best park presidents our resorts have were people that started off working in the resorts. Everyone else, Michael Coglizier, and then Bob Chapek, and then now this Rebecca Campbell, they didn't start working off in the resorts. They started working off in weird business segments, not even the live entertainment segment like Disneyland is. They were working in like merchandise and marketing and just weird jobs that those have nothing to do with running a resort. So how do you expect them to do a good job?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then it just so happens that these people don't even visit the resorts. Like Bob Chapek, he's visited the park. I think the entire time he's been running the Parks and Resorts division, he's only been said to have visited twice. I mean, I'm sure he's visited maybe a handful more times, but the fact that it is only publicly known that he's visited twice, Disneyland Resort that is weird. It's like, you're the president of the Parks and Resorts. You should be going there very frequently, to see what it's like. It's just, it doesn't make sense. You don't hire someone for a job that has never even worked even close to that job position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if like these shuffle ups, how often they happen, because I'm not sure if I should try and tie this to like, 5 years have passed, it's time to move people around, or if you guys know what I mean, like just annual shuffle ups, or
they usually do it it could be 4, 5, or 6 years. That's usually how it goes.
Okay, because I don't know whether to tie this to that or to tie it to the fact, that the parks have not been as crowded as the executives have hoped, and maybe they're hoping that the shuffle ups will help bring in some fresh ideas. I don't know. That's just sort of what I'm piecing together in my mind here.
That's kind of what they did. Was that's how they do things, is they shuffle it up with the idea that people will bring new stuff to the table. But in my experience, it's like, don't push your luck. When you find a good apple, you keep it,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, I mean, but it's also hard to say that too, because people like George Kalogridis, who did a really good job running Disneyland Resort, Walt Disney World could really use, his leadership skills, and they did, and now he's leaving that. But now he's leaving that for a division of the company that it has nothing to do with Parks and Resorts. Mm-hmm. So that's another weird thing. Like, he is a Parks and Resorts guy, and where do you go in the company after moving up from Walt Disney World? There's nowhere else. So they move him to another part of the company that has nothing to do with that. And it's like, is he really going to be able to shine in that job position? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Weird.
He's moving to president of Disney. I'm gonna Google this and see if anything pops up related to, like, maybe there's like an Indeed listing for the job or something, of Disney segment development and enrichment. Let's see. So far, it's just articles talking about what we've already been talking about. There is no details on the job from what I can see. Okay, well, yeah, I guess it's only people who work in the company, I guess, know what that means. I have no idea what the president of Disney segment and development and enrichment is. I mean, I'd love to guess, but I'm sure we'd all be wrong if we tried to guess.
They have so many job titles that don't even matter, like director of project awareness.
What does that mean?
So,
yeah.
It sounds to me like this job position is for someone to remind people that there's a project. Like, hey, by the way, there's a project going on
all day to remind people.
That's what it sounds like to me. That's a weird job position to have, and it's like, and you're the director of it. So, like, what's your department doing? Like,
yeah,
just weird. Just
Yeah, it is very interesting. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know these people's legacies. We'll see what comes of this, if anything changes in the parks. It's just weird that the timing of it is just sort of strange, with Galaxy's Edge opening and the attendance not being as well for Disneyland. Disney even admitting that the attendance was low. They say it fell 3%, which I guess doesn't look like a big number, but I'm sure in terms of summer season, falling 3% compared to maybe last year when it was up. I don't know. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm sure that makes an impact. We'll see what comes of this. Yeah, I'm hoping next there's going to be an article that says Bob Chapek has quit to pursue a life of farming in Alaska. Hopefully. Oh, well, we have Bob Iger here. Well, I'll just ask him. Hey, Bob, what is the president of Disney Segment Development and Enrichment? Even he doesn't know what that means, you guys. If Bob Iger doesn't know what that position means, then...
He responded rather quickly for that question.
I know, he is a very fast speaker. And I told him he could use my sister's makeup to cover up the blemishes he had, but he said, "It's fine, Matt. I'll just stay behind. I'll stay behind the green screen and eventually say..." I completely forgot he was here, to be honest, which is kind of awkward because he's our special guest of the show. But anyways, yeah, we'll see. We'll update you guys on whether or not these changes bring goodness or badness to Disneyland Resort, and I guess to Walt Disney World as well. And if you guys know, please, if you know what the president of Disney Segment Development and Enrichment is, or what the president of Europe, Middle East, and Africa for the company's direct-to-consumer and international segment is, please tell us. Or take your guess, at least. But anyways, I think that just about wraps up everything here for today's show. Alex, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to say on what we've been talking about?
No.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, I finally have my laugh track up and ready. So, Seinfeld laugh track 1. Hopefully they don't copyright me. But anyways... Yeah, everybody say bye to Bob. Bye, Bob Iger. It was fun having you here. Thanks for flying out to New Mexico to be on the stream. Or we could have just like Skype called him or something instead of him flying out here. It was really nice of him to fly out. We're taking him on a brunch tomorrow morning to this real lovely place, Chick-fil-A. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Bob's a big fan of Chick-fil-A, so we're going to be taking him there for breakfast tomorrow. He's bunking with me, so that's pretty cool. He takes up half the bed, though, so I don't have a lot of room to... I'm very squished under the covers with him. I don't know where this is going, but anyways, Chris with a K says hi. Chris, you missed the whole thing, buddy. We're ending the show. Alan says, why Matterhorn Mondays if it's on a Sunday? We record on Saturdays, but the show officially comes out on iTunes, on Spotify, on YouTube on Mondays. So that's why it's called Matterhorn Mondays. Get that question asked a lot, not surprisingly. But yeah, thank you all for coming out to today's live show. I forgot to say this after the sponsor break. Puckermint, you guys, have put out a brand new California pin, and I happen to have that California pin here. It's very beautiful. This is the new rose gold color. I'm going to zoom in for this, just so you guys can see how beautiful this is. There it is. Puckermint.com. Also Puckermint on Instagram. Is that better? I want to make sure you guys get a good look at this because it's a really beautiful. There we go. And they also have stickers as well. Stickers to match as well. It's hard to fit everything in frame and keep it in focus as well. But this was kind of a short live stream today. 1 hour and 18 minutes. Yeah, I guess. I don't know why I thought this was... We've already passed 2 hours. I don't know what I'm thinking.
It did feel like a long stream, even though it wasn't that long.
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, we're gonna have more to talk about. I think next week we're gonna have Jeremy on the show back because there's a lot of Epcot announcements that we did not detail today in today's show. I want to have. There's one special guest that I have in mind that I want to have for a future episode. I don't know if you guys follow. I'm blanking on the name. I think his name's Skylar. And he is the head editor for this Disney website. I have it here. I have it in the links that we're talking about. Let's see. TheDizInsider.com. I want to have him on the show. I feel like he'd be real fun to have. We'll let you guys know. Next week, the stream should be at this normal time. But anyways, thank you to everybody for coming out to today's show. Thank you for tuning in to the very end of the show. We appreciate every single one of you. We also appreciate, let's see, Thomas the Next Walt for your $1.99 super chat. I'll keep an eye on the super chats for next podcast, you guys, in case more people send some. I'll be prepared. But anyways, I do believe it is time to end off today's show. So thank you to everyone for coming out. Yeah, Alex, go subscribe to Alex the Historian on YouTube as well. I feel like we don't have to say that, but, you know, everybody knows that they should go subscribe to Alex. But we'll say it anyways. I think, Alex, have you already passed 10,000 subscribers yet? Or are you almost about to pass 10,000?
I'm still like... I'm still like 10. I'm sorry. I'm still like 700 subscribers away from that.
Okay.
I'm trying to get there. I think what will get me there is if I do another really good history video.
Mm-hmm.
Then that might make me pass that threshold, and then I'll finally be over 10,000, and I'll meet the goal that I've had for 3 years. Like all I ever wanted was just to meet 10,000 subscribers. I don't care if I go further than that, but that is my goal. So, but I've been kind of on a break from history videos lately. So, because I've just been so burnt out making them.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope to get back to it soon. So,
link in the description. Alex the Historian. His Twitter will be linked as well. Which Alex uses his Twitter. Sometimes he uses his Twitter.
What? All the time.
All the time. Alex uses his Twitter. But anyways, thank you to everybody again for coming out to today's live stream. We'll talk about, the Skyliner. We didn't even detail the Skyliner opening. That will be next week. We just had to pick and choose what we decided to talk about today. But again, thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bruh. There we go.